Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, and I'm here today to talk to you about how I set up my grade 5 probability class. Now, as a student, when I was much younger, I was a terrible student, and one thing that kind of held me back too is I was always just questioning why. Why am I learning this? Why do I need to know this? What is the point? And because I didn't see the point, I just kind of drifted off, lost interest because I didn't think it was necessary. In my infinite wisdom as a young child, I thought I knew better, that these things were not important, so therefore I didn't want to learn them. So when I do a lot of my teaching in any subject, I'm always looking to make it as applicable as possible and give examples of how this is used in real day life. I'm taking things that held me back as a student and trying to overcome that and make sure I'm teaching to those things so that how would I have learned better when I was a kid. And that is a huge part of why I do what I do as a teacher using board games, as the board game teacher, as if you will. And so in my probability class, really all I'm doing is just a series of different games and playing games, and it's really motivating to the students because they're having fun playing games, but it's also using those games then and talking about them and taking the lessons, and then we can apply probability words to them, like likely, certain, impossible, to the events that are happening in the game as well. All that other great learning is happening as well. So if you haven't, any of these games I'm going to be talking about right now, I'm not going to be going to explain how they're played and things like that because I've done videos on all of these games already. Most recently I just did the one on the Push Your Luck game, and so if you haven't watched any of those ones, please just go back and watch the other videos if you need to know how they're played. If you know how they're played, then we can just sort of move forward. You don't need to go back. But so the Push Your Luck is the first one I'm going to start with in a probability class because it's an easy one. It's very accessible, just having the dice, and it's just a very easy one to teach to the students. And so no matter the groupings and things, I can just have everybody playing at the same time. I can walk around and just make sure everybody's playing the game. And that way, once everybody knows how to play that one game and is enjoying that game, and we can just sort of get that one going, then I can use that so that the next time I'm teaching the lesson, I'm going to start a cycle. So I establish groups with my students. So I divide them into groups. I go into the Flippity name picker, and I've also done a video about that, showing how to use that one, so you can go back and see that. But I use that to just randomize groups, and I want groups of 4. The reason I want groups of 4 or less, I mean, it could be a group of 3 if it needs be, but I don't want more than 4 because one of the games that, I want to make sure that there's enough players available for each game. Because one of the games I use is Love Letter, and Love Letter only plays up to 4 players in a game. So now, what happens if you have like a class of 25? Well, hey, I have a class of 25 this year. So I have 6 groups of 4 and 1 group of 1. And that one group of 1, I just call him my floater. And he is floating from different groups as needed. So if there's a kid away, he takes the place of that kid. If there is, if everybody's here, then what I can do is I can put him into a group where it's not limited to 4 people. So in the one game I have that's limited to 4 is Love Letter. So in that case, I just go to put him in a group where it's not Love Letter, right? So there's a lot of other options to be doing once we're fully into the cycle of the games and stuff. But as right now with the learning, he substituted a kid today who was away, so he played Love Letter, but in other circumstances, he may join a group that's doing the Push Your Luck, because the other ones haven't been introduced yet. So, yeah, so as I say, so cycling through, the first one I'm teaching the kids is Love Letter. So Love Letter is a very easy game, card game for 4 players, and fast, easy to learn. So, and I like it too for the reason that it's very cheap. So I can buy multiple copies and again, have those cycling around the class as kids are learning it. So first off, the whole group learns the Push Your Luck. Then I start to introduce Love Letter. And once Love Letter's into the cycle, I've gone through the whole cycle, everybody's learned Love Letter. Then I'll introduce Cockroach Poker. And Cockroach Poker, great bluffing game, plays up to 6. So I'll teach that one to everybody, and then I'll teach roll for it to everybody. And at that point, once everybody's got that, then I will just have different groups set up. So I'll have one group with Push Your Luck, one group with Love Letter, one group with Cockroach Poker, one group with Roll for It, and that's 4. So then I may just have another Push Your Luck. And I have multiple copies of Love Letter. I have 2 copies of Cockroach Poker. So I have flexibility in terms of what I want to do at that point. I only have the 1 copy of Roll for It. But I mean, there's other games too. I'm thinking like Perudo or Liar's Dice is another good one that could be done. And that one can be a great game, but it's just that one you would need dice cups for as well. So, but that is how I'm doing it though. I mean, and from there, then I can generate the discussions around that, and I can teach concepts around that. We can start to break things down. We can look at things in, fractional probabilities. So if I give them a hypothetical situation in Love Letter, okay, well, maybe I take a picture of a setup with cards and say, okay, what is the probability of this? Or like in Cockroach Poker, maybe put up some things and show, like, again, hypothetical situation, here's these things. This person is passing you a card, and like as a class discussion, here's a hypothetical situation, the person's passing you a card and says it's a cockroach, what do you say? And you're not allowed to pass. So it's all these kinds of things, just great opportunities, and again, you can start to apply that then, like I said, to fractions, and if you're into higher grade levels, percentages as well. There's more things you can do with these things as to help them understand the game and be better at the game. Because as I explain to them as they're playing these games, it's the probability and the knowledge of the probability that will actually help you to be a better player. And they're excited by the idea that they can actually be better at a game because they understand the game. And it's very motivating, and it's a lot of fun. So it's what I do, and it's worked for me. And like I say, it's just something I'd like to share with you. And if you know of any of the games or using games in your classroom, or you can think of games that maybe I didn't mention here today, that are great, simple games, preferably low cost, that would make great uses of probability in a classroom, please do let me know in the comment section below. I mean, like, I've been doing this a long time, but I don't pretend to know everything. I always tell the students, I don't pretend to know everything. So if you can help me by telling me of some more great games that are out there, please do so. I'd love to hear about it. But if any of these are new games for you, then please do check them out. And if you have other questions more specific to what I'm doing in the classroom, whether it's my probability class or other classes, or how I'm setting things up here, then again, let me know. I'd love to help you out with any questions that you have. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me?